Hello, everybody, and welcome to a preseason podcast with Blake Mellinger, the head coach of men's basketball here at UVA Wise. We are here with Kelly Pearson from the Coalfield Progress and Kevin Mays from the Kingsport Times. I'm going to start it off. Say thank you for all of you guys for coming. We're just going to start this off with the media. If they have any questions for you, Blake, we're just going to open it up to them and see if they want to start anything off. So I'm going to start with Kevin, and then we can go back and forth with Kevin and Kelly if that works.
That's fine. I guess the first thing, Coach, you just want to talk about expectations for this season, who you have coming back, newcomers, et cetera.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to quantify expectations right now. We're really almost like a completely different team, truthfully. We've got a lot of new guys. We bring four guys back that did play significant minutes for us last year. We've got Caleb Carter, who it's his fourth year with us. He's been a 4-year starter, so he has a lot of experience, the guy that will really be relying on both ends of the floor. And then we have 3 sophomores, or I guess there's technically still freshmen because of the COVID year, and Bradley Dean, Ben Bryson, and Isaiah McAmis. So they're young in terms of their eligibility, but they're pretty experienced in the fact that a lot of those guys played significant minutes for us last year and had pretty big roles, particularly probably the last month of the season.
Coach, just a real quick question. Caleb Carter listed as a junior. Is he now a redshirt junior?
Yeah, it's always confusing, like telling people what year guys are now because of the COVID year. He normally, like, this is his 4th year here. He would normally be a senior, but where he got last year back, he has 2 years of eligibility left. So honestly, I don't even know how to classify it. I just know he's on the court. He's a junior. I don't know if that's considered a redshirt junior or COVID junior. I don't really know how that's perceived, but he's got 2 years left to play.
Okay. Just looking at your roster on here, I mean, you've got 2 juniors listed, no seniors listed, but of course I understand there's kind of, there's Caleb on there and whatnot. But I mean, you got freshmen and sophomores galore. I mean, talk about just having such a young team this year.
Yeah, well, I tell everybody that we're the oldest young team in the country. We're young from a standpoint of if you go down our roster, like you said, you see a bunch of freshmen and sophomores, but we do have some older guys. We got 2 freshmen that are 21 years old. We've got some sophomores, a couple sophomores that normally would be juniors, but again, because of the COVID year, they've got more years left to play than I guess they would have if COVID hadn't taken place. So that's not extremely alarming to me, truthfully. We don't have a ton of guys back that are experienced here, but we still have some guys that I would say have quite a bit of experience at this level, or at least at the collegiate level, whether it's, guys who are transfers, Division I transfers, junior college transfers, whatever it may be.
Okay. Kevin, you go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. I lost my button there for a second. Just talk about just playing in the SAC. Always a challenge in men's basketball. Obviously, I mean, it looks like it's going to be another strong year for the conference as a whole. So.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, honestly, I think the SAC's basketball league, in my opinion, it's one of the premier Division II leagues in the country year in and year out. You normally have 2, 3, 4 teams that are, ranked in the top 25 in the country. There are multiple teams in this league every year that theoretically could contend for a national championship. So it makes it really challenging, but at the same time, it makes it a lot of fun because that you're playing against high-level competition every single night. And, you're competing against really good players and really good coaches. And, as a competitor, whether it be a coach or a player, I think that's what you look for.
What about it? And obviously it's early, but just guys who are going to give you minutes. I won't ask for a starting 5, but I mean, just some names you might want to throw out there you think that are going to help you this year. We'll see a lot of.
Yeah, I think it starts with those 4 guys I mentioned, the returners, and then we've got 2 freshmen that have had really good preseasons that we have really high expectations for. That we had one scrimmage on Monday that they played a lot for us, and that was Mekhi Vassell and Joel Pettiford. Those guys, they kind of give us a different dynamic. Joel is, he's about 6'7", 235, so he gives us a true post presence, something we've really been lacking the last couple of years. And then Mekhi is like a 6'6", 3'4" guy, so he gives us length and athleticism on the perimeter, but he can also rebound inside and finish around the basket. So I think it's, it starts with those 2, but I think we're a lot deeper this year. And I really think we could ultimately end up playing 10 or 11 guys. We got a Division I transfer from University of Hartford in Cameron McCravey, so he'll spend some time at the point guard position. I got Tyler Lloyd, who is back, who played 3 games for us last year. Then he went out second semester, so he's back. Actually, I think in those 3 games he was, averaging close to 13 points a game for us. So another guy who's been with us, who produced in a little bit of game time or game experience that they did have here. And then trying to think here, we got so many new guys. Grayson Honaker, a local kid, not a transfer, but a freshman, started out at Honaker High School, and then he went to Hargrave Military Academy. He showed some really bright spots here in the preseason. And then Curvins Yasaint, he's like a 6'5" wing, got a northern part of Georgia, who also has given us some really bright spots here early on.
Talk a little bit about, you have so few returners coming back on influx of new people. What's the chemistry been like? Has everybody been doing well together in the preseason?
Yeah, so far it's been really, really good. And that's been pleasing to see, because, that's not always easy when you have a bunch of new guys, but they seem to really get along really well. The big thing is they spend a ton of time together off the court. So I think that makes a big difference. Before you can get your on-court chemistry right, I think it has to be right off the court. I think, guys have to enjoy being around each other, and this group definitely does that. And then as far as on the court, I think it just takes time. I think it takes time just playing with one another before things really start to click. And, we're still in that process.
Thank you.
Just if you can, just talk a little bit about the I know something you're probably not fond of right now, but the transfer portal. I mean, how much has that affected at the D2 level and UVA wise especially?
Honestly, I think it's affected every school in the country, and we were no different last year. It's just a new way of college athletics, a new way of college recruiting, particularly on the basketball side, and something we're going to have to adjust to. We were able to benefit from it in terms of we picked up some transfers that we brought in, but obviously we lost some guys last year. And I think COVID had a lot to do with that. We had 2 guys last year that graduated that had eligibility left, and then, could have come back here, but where we don't have a graduate program, we really didn't have anything left for them from an academic standpoint. So they basically, if they were going to continue to play, they were going to have to transfer. Then we had one kid transferred, play Division I basketball, so you can't really fault him for that, as much as we hated to lose him. So, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it's just, it's been something that we've kind of avoided. The last 4 or 5 years, we've never really had a lot of guys transfer out. But just with the new NCAA rules in terms of, got kids not having to sit out a year when they transfer, I think it's just, honestly, as much as I hate to say it, I think there's kind of a new world of recruiting, and it's impacted everybody. You look all across the country at every level, Division I, Division II, high major, whatever it may be, everybody's dealing with the same thing. So I think that's the world we live in now.
I actually did have one question. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the players, but it has to do with your assistant coaches. I was just kind of wondering how, they have adapted, especially Austin, how they've adapted to finally getting like a full year without COVID kind of lingering, or at least hoping that COVID isn't lingering. And I just wanted to see like how he's adjusted. And I know Stinson, this is his, I believe, second, I guess, full year helping you out. So I just wanted to see how their chemistry is with the kids.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, obviously Stinson, it's been easy for him because he's been with us the last couple of years. So he's, he actually kind of adapted that position before he was ever really even in it. And then Austin's done great too. It was a little harder with him because he didn't get here until like the middle of September, and we were already into workouts and all that. So he was kind of playing catch up from a certain aspect, but he's done great too. He's done a really good job with their guys, and both of those guys have, brought a lot to the table. So I've been really pleased with both of them.
Awesome. And that wraps it up for me. I didn't have any other questions. I just wanted to make sure that everybody from the media was able to. Kevin, Kelly, you guys are all good?
That sounds good. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it, Blake.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I'm great. Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.